was a man, tall, still, facing the road, not walking, not waving, not on his phone, just standing there, in the dark, in the fog, on a road that no one had any reason to be on. I eased off the gas as I passed him. 01, Northern California coast, the kind of darkness that doesn't just surround you, it swallows you. No lights, no signal, no other souls for miles. Just the hum of your engine and the quiet reminder that you are completely and utterly alone. It was 2022. I was making the drive back from Eureka to Oakland on a Sunday night, a decision I would spend a long time trying to understand. The first 2 hours passed without incident. Then, somewhere near Trinidad, the fog came, not gradually, not politely. It arrived the way something hunting arrives. Sudden, total, and absolute. Within 5 minutes, the world beyond my windshield ceased to exist. 20 feet of visibility, maybe less. The headlights cutting into nothing but white silence. I slowed to 35 and kept moving. The road had narrowed to 2 lanes by then. Just me, the fog, and whatever lived inside it. That's when thick fog does something to your mind. It steals your landmarks. It dissolves distance. It makes you feel like you're driving, but going nowhere. Like the world outside stopped existing the moment you stopped being able to. As a man, tall, still, facing the road, not walking, not waving, not on his phone, just standing there, in the dark, in the fog, on a road that no one had any reason to be on. I eased off the gas as I passed him, afraid he might step into my path, but he didn't move, didn't flinch, didn't even turn his head as 2 tons of metal rolled inches past him. I looked at his face as I passed. There was nothing wrong with it. That somehow made it worse. I told myself there was a logical explanation. Maybe his car had broken down somewhere behind the fog. Maybe he was waiting for a signal that would never come, on a road that had long since forgotten him. But I hadn't passed a single car on that shoulder, and there was nothing ahead of him, nothing behind him, no reason, none, for a man to be standing in that exact spot, facing that exact direction, staring into the dark like he was expecting something. I kept driving. I don't know why I didn't stop. Some instinct older than reason told me not to, so I listened to it. 10 minutes passed. Then my headlights found him again. Same height, same dark clothes, same posture. That terrible, unnatural stillness, except this time he was on the other side of the road, the left shoulder, not the right. I had been the only car moving in either direction. There were no turnoffs, no crossroads, no way, no possible way he could have gotten ahead of me. I said something out loud to the empty car, I don't even remember what, and as I passed him for the second time, he turned his head, slowly, deliberately, and looked directly at me. The way his head moved, that slow, mechanical snap, it didn't feel like curiosity. It felt like recognition. I pressed the accelerator down, not enough to lose control, the fog wouldn't allow that, but enough to feel like I was putting something between myself and whatever was standing back there on that road. The fog thickened. I didn't think that was possible, but it did. The center line disappeared beneath me. The shoulders vanished. The world compressed itself down to a gray tunnel with no end and no beginning, and I was the only thing moving inside it. 3 minutes, maybe less. Then my headlights stopped on something in the road ahead, not on the shoulder this time, not to the left, not to the right, in the middle, standing perfectly still in the center of both lanes. Waiting? I had nowhere to go. So I stopped. Here's your final section. A hood concealed his face entirely, just darkness where his features should have been, and yet I knew. The way you know things in dreams you wish you could forget. It was him, the same figure, the same stillness, the same presence that had been trailing me through the fog since Trinidad. He didn't move. My engine idled. The fog pressed against every window like something breathing, and in that silence, that horrible, total silence, I could feel his eyes on me, hidden behind that hood, behind that darkness, watching. I flashed my headlights, once, twice, 3 times. Nothing. He stood there like he had been standing there for 100 years, like he would stand there for 100 more. So I shifted into reverse. I looked in my rearview mirror, and the world stopped. Someone was behind me, a figure emerging slowly from the fog, not running, not rushing, walking with the calm, unhurried patience of something that already knows how this ends. I don't remember Mac-E. There are places that know you, not in the way a home knows you, not warmly, not safely, the way a trap knows the thing it was built for. It was spring break, my senior year of college. I came back to my hometown the way I always did, out of habit more than anything else. One of those quiet suburban towns that exists in the space between somewhere and nowhere, close enough to a city to feel its pulse, far enough to never quite reach it. My old friends were gone, scattered across different schedules, different lives. So it was just me. I filled the silence the only way I knew how, running. The same 3-mile loop I'd run in high school 100 times or more. It starts in the neighborhood, bleeds into a wooded trail, and circles back to the street near my house, a familiar road, a known thing. I should have paid attention to what the world was trying to tell me the moment I stepped outside. The fog was wrong. Not morning fog, not coastal fog. Something denser. Something that didn't move the way fog moves, drifting, shifting, alive with light. This sat, heavy and still, swallowing everything beyond 30 feet like it had been there long before I arrived and planned to stay long after I left. I told myself the trail was straight, no forks, no way to get lost. I told myself I'd be fine. The first 1.5 miles passed in silence. Then I looked down at my watch. 2.5 miles. I should have been approaching the end of the trail. I should have been able to see the street through the trees. But there was nothing around me but woods and fog, and the sound of my own breathing. I kept running. 3 miles, the full loop. I should have been home. I was still deep in the forest. I stopped. There is only one trail. No branches, no alternate routes. The kind of path a person cannot accidentally leave without knowing they've left it. I hadn't left it. And yet, I turned around and ran back the way I came. The fog pressed closer now, thicker than before, the trees dissolving into grey on every side. That's when I heard it. Not an animal. I've heard animals in those woods my whole life. This was something else entirely. A sound that existed in the space between a moan and a drone, low, sustained, rising and falling with a rhythm that felt almost deliberate, almost intentional, like something producing sound not out of pain or need, but out of awareness. It knew I was there, and it was behind me. No matter how hard I pushed, how fast my legs moved, how much ground I covered, it stayed, fixed at the same distance, constant, patient, following without chasing, the way something follows when it already knows where you're going. I didn't look back. I ran. Then the trees broke. The street appeared beneath my feet, and I stumbled out of the woods and into the open air, lungs burning, legs gone. I stood there in the sudden quiet, and then, against every instinct telling me not to, I turned around. Something was standing at the trailhead, just beyond the threshold where the woods began. A silhouette in the fog, tall, unnaturally tall. I'm 6'1", and whatever stood there made me feel small in a way I have never felt before or since. 7 feet at least, maybe more. It wasn't moving toward me. It was simply standing there, swaying, slowly, gently. like something that had learned the motion of a living thing without quite understanding why living things move at all. The droning had stopped, the woods were silent, and in that silence, with that shape swaying in the fog at the edge of the trail, I understood something without words. It had let me leave. I turned and ran home, and I didn't look back again. But sometimes, in the quiet moments before sleep, I still hear it, that low, swelling drone following me through the trees. And I wonder what would have happened if it had decided not to let me go. Some places hold their secrets beneath the surface. Willapa Bay is one of them. 25 miles of tidal estuary along the Washington coast, oyster farms, wildlife refuge, water so still on a calm day that the sky and the bay become the same thing, a mirror world where the boundary between above and below quietly disappears. My friend Edwin and I had been planning the trip for years. The day we finally went, the fog had arrived first. We weren't reckless. Edwin had spent summers guiding on open water. We both grew up with paddles in our hands. We looked at the fog, weighed it against years of experience, and made the decision that experienced people sometimes make. We launched anyway. For the first hour, there was only the sound of our paddles and the muffled silence that fog carries with it. The kind of quiet that doesn't feel empty. The kind that feels occupied. Then I heard splashing. I assumed it was Edwin adjusting his stroke. I didn't think anything of it until I looked over and saw his paddle resting motionless across his kayak.